Hey, 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 good morning. Happy Sunday. It is so good to be here with all of you. It's so good to see y'all.
Yes, yes.
And we are excited as we begin a new masterclass today. But before we get into all of that, let's begin as we always do with prayer. And this morning, our prayer champion, Nessa, will lead us in prayer.
Good morning, Celebration Spiritual Center. Let's get settled in with a cleansing breath, breathing in and out. And again, inhaling peace and exhaling into the present. Here and now, I am knowing the one mind, power, and presence behind it all. Time, space, math, music, physics, the weather, the gravity, the universe. Created and animated from the only source, God, spark, spirit, mother, father, one. That same one, individualized as every eating, crying, laughing, resting, breathing being. We, spirit, mind, and body, perfectly created, worthy, loved, prospered, uniquely equipped and guided to extend this holy love and light into the everythingness that is and the anythingness that can be life experience on this earth. We are clear that what is created by the One is loved and cared for unconditionally by the One. Unconditionally. So it stands to reason that there's no act or circumstance where we need to worry that the substantial, the needed, or the truth is missing or denied to us or anyone else. And in the face of this knowing, all thoughts and beliefs to the contrary fall away now. We let go of anything of that sort. And we know that space now to be occupied by goodness with a capital G. Everything required for our best life and living is here and available. From this place, we use our time and energy to create from an alignment with wholeness. We see relationships in a renewed light. We know and believe in ourselves with a renewed clarity. We make plans from a revitalized inspiration. We give with an understanding that we will never run out of that which we have to give. We receive with an acceptance that we are worthy of all that comes our way and more. There's so often a lot to think about, but there's only one truth to know. And this reference is a piece that we carry with us always and rely on anywhere. In this piece, we co-create today a joyful and enriching Celebration Spiritual Center Sunday service, expecting a word, a song, an image, a message that will resonate with each exactly as needed, that will provide an insight that informs and lightens up our experiences of the week and beyond. This we release to the One, to the Mother, Father, to the goodness that is the allness, to be transformed by the law into every form of restoration, prosperity, and expansion that is called for. Knowing this to be natural, expecting miracles for ourselves and for all those that we are holding in heart here in this moment. Thank you, Mother, Father, God, for yet another day to come together in community, to know and celebrate the truth, to be enriched by the love and light, and to move forward committed and confident in the word and power back of Amen, Ashe, and so it is.
John, I gotta take this out.
Amen. Ashe. And so it is. Thank you, Nessa, for that powerful prayer.
Thank you, Dessa.
So again, hello, happy Sunday, welcome. It's so good to be here with each and every one of you as we take this time to celebrate the magnificence and significance of God in, through, and as us. And we want to say a special hello and a special welcome to those of you who may be joining us for the first time. If you're a first-time guest, we would love to stay in touch with you. If you would like to stay in touch with us, we send out an email each week that has a lot of information, some of which we will share in just a few minutes. But if you would like to be put on that mailing list, then all you have to do is simply text the word welcome to 347-472-1078. Now, please just text the word welcome No additional signatures or hellos are needed. With that word welcome, you'll receive a response with a link. Click that link and fill out all the information. As I shared last week, we're noticing that some people aren't completing the process. So you text the number, and that's awesome. And then the response, you have to actually enter your information by clicking the URL. Once you have that, then we have everything we need, and you're definitely on the mailing list. For those of you who may be joining us internationally, as we know, we have our family in the UK and our family in West Africa and so many people all over. You can go to our website and join our mailing list that way. That's probably going to be the easiest way for you, giving international texting things. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we have a few things to share in the way of announcements. So we'll get into that. And after our announcements, we can move into meditation. Oh, okay. Looks like my slides are off, and I don't know why. Let me move back here. These the right slides? I don't think they are. Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Let's see if I can.
Maybe prayer is the most important thing to talk about today.
Yeah, we'll just talk about that. All good. So, yes, we are a church that believes in prayer. And so we have the Momentum Prayer Call, which happens every Wednesday at 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Mm-hmm. The information is here. Call the number, enter the access code, and join us. If you're not able to join us live, then you can use the playback number, and the most recent prayer is available. All you have to do is call that playback number, enter your access code, and wait. And once it'll ask for another number, a reference number, you don't need that number. Just wait, and the most recent prayer will happen. We share a reading from the Daily Word, and then either myself, Pastor Yolanda, or one of the prayer champions pray. It's absolutely awesome. It's absolutely wonderful. Oh, see, I'm off today. Okay, there we go. Also, we recognize that you may actually have a prayer request outside of gathering together for prayer on Wednesdays. And so if you have a prayer request, you can send an email to prayerchampions@celebrationsc.org. And when you send that email, it will be received by us, the pastors, and it will be received by all of our prayer champions. And so we hold that space. We hold that knowing. We know the truth with and for each and every one of you all throughout the week. So when you're sending that prayer request, please see yourself releasing it, see yourself letting it go, see it as done, see it as accomplished. All of that gesture is actually allowing you to create space, mm-hmm. to then hear, to listen, to receive, to surrender, to allow.
This is a process that we've had in place since day one, actually before day one, because we leave in prayer. And so when you release it, you make room for the answer. You make room for the abundance. You make room for the truth. Mm-hmm. And if you have a prayer request, just do that. Just like we were in service, write it down, hit that send, and know that it is done.
Yes, absolutely. Next Sunday, which is the third Sunday, is God Talk Sunday. We are always excited about the God Talk because it is an opportunity to ask questions. It's an opportunity to learn how to apply spiritual principle and metaphysical principles to your life. Many times you have questions about what you may hear during the service, or just something is going on in your life and you want to meaningfully and constructively apply these principles, but you just might not be sure how to do it, or you mm-hmm. might need some support in looking at it differently. And so we're happy to offer that support and that insight. No question is off limits. And what happens at the God Talk stays at the God Talk. If you would like to be a part of the God Talk, you have to be on our mailing list to get the information. As you can see, the Zoom link and password is sent via email, and it's in our weekly email. So again, to our first time guests, if you would like to be on our mailing list, please just text the word welcome to 347-472-1078. And if you are outside of the United States and not able to text, then you can go directly to our website and go to the section Connect, which is at the bottom of the page. But you can just click Connect, and it'll take you to where you can sign up and join our mailing list. Let's see. Yes. So today we begin a new masterclass.
Yes, we're excited.
Very excited about this. And we are going to be taking a deep dive for the next 8 to 10 weeks, maybe, in studying the game of life and how to play it. For those of you that were not a part of the masterclass that we did last spring, Thrive, Living in Complete Prosperity, based or looking at and studying spiritual economics by Eric Butterworth, we're going to do it the same way, the same format. So I know that we all love Soul 21. We all love music. We're in class now. We're doing something differently, right? So these Sundays, just be ready. Have your book, have your notes, have your questions. We're going to share with you a little later the email address that you can email your questions to us as you're reading the chapter, the upcoming chapter, so that then we can address those throughout the class. But we're really looking forward to taking this deep dive. This is a powerful text. It is a, one of those new thought texts that everyone has to read and come across at some point in time. Flora Scovel-Shinn is a powerful metaphysician and practitioner, and so we will glean a lot of wisdom from her.
Absolutely. And we will also apply our lens to it if there is anything that appears problematic, because this text is it's a foundational text, so it's a little older. It's not as recent. And so we'll be prepared to do that. You know how we do. We take our lens and we clean off some things, we add some things. And so we're looking forward to this time together.
Yes. Awesome. And so with that, it is time for meditation, and PY will take us on in.
Oh, I love this image. I love the energy of this image. I love the aliveness of this image. Last week we began the month, as it was Resurrection Sunday, with knowing that what is eternal can never die, and that we are alive in God. Alive, no matter what the conditions that may appear that feel stagnant, we are alive. And since we are eternal and flowing and powerful, just like this waterfall, we know that God is here and all is well. And so we will continue this month with our affirmative thought. I am alive in God. I'm not alive outside of God. There is no place where God is not. And that must mean that God is alive in me. Doesn't matter what you call God. Just know that you are connected to this infinite power, this infinite intelligence, this infinite creativity. And as I say, it is constantly flowing. There is no situation that is not temporary. You are not stuck, stagnant, stalled. You are alive in God. So let's practice this idea now. Meditation is that time where we come together, collectively bringing our energy and our focus to feeling God alive in us, feeling God as the breath flows, just feeling God, so that we know we're never alone. So go ahead, look around your location, your room, and notice that you are safe. Whether you are seated upright in a chair, on your sofa, in your bed, allow this sense of safety to support you as we take this experience inward. Let's go ahead. Close our eyes and allow that simple act of closing the eyes to remind us we are not alone. We are connected. We are together. And we are alive in God. And with our eyes closed, we notice how the breath is flowing. We just notice, make no judgment of its movement, but we know that it is moving. Whether it is in our mind, deep or shallow. The breath is available, and we are alive. Take a few rounds here to notice the breath and be in gratitude for its flow. Beautiful. Continue to notice. Continue to allow each breath to take you deeper, to relax your body more, to open you to the fullest expression of God in, through, and as you. And now, let's take conscious control together over this breath. And sending our attention, our focus, our power into the low belly. Breathing into the low belly now on a count of 4. Inhale. Hold it there. Open the mouth, relax the jaw, and sigh it out. Beautiful. Inhale into the low belly. Hold it there. Open the mouth and sigh it out. Inhale into the low belly, expanding, allowing the breath to fill up the rib cage, the front and the sides and the back of the body. Letting that breath occupy all of that space. Hold it there at the top. And open the mouth, sigh it out. Let's repeat that feeling of expansion in through the low belly, up through the rib cage. Count to 4. Hold it there. Count to 4. And sigh it out. Count to 4. In through the low belly, up through the rib cage, now up to the heart chakra, center of the chest. Hold it there. Open the mouth and sigh it out on a count of 4. Beautiful. Last time, in through the low belly, up through the rib cage, up through heart chakra, healing center, the alive portion. Hold it there. Open the mouth, sigh it out. Let it all go. Shoulders relax. Breath makes room for more aliveness. Beautiful. Let's take a few rounds here. In through the nose, breathing all the way in and up, holding at the top. This time, close the lips. A nice and gentle, easy breath out through the nose. As we breathe in and out through the nose, we notice the sensation of relaxation, the feeling of the breath moving through the body, the aliveness of every cell, the knowing that we are one with God in this aliveness. Let's take a few rounds of deep, relaxed breath in and out through the nose. Where I am, God is, and all is well. Where I am, God is alive, and all is well. Where I am, energy is, healing is. I let it be, because God is alive in me. Beautiful. Let's send this energy into our feet, beginning our complete, total body relaxation now. Sending the energy into the feet. Maybe raise the heels, maybe wiggle the toes. Relax the feet. Energy that is gathered beneath the feet. We send it up the body, across the ankles. Relax the ankles. As we become a more clear, open channel for aliveness, the energy flows up our shins, our calves. Relax the shins. Relax the calves. The energy that is flowing is connected to the sights, the sounds, the feeling tone of aliveness. Send that energy across the knees now. Relax the knees. I am alive in God. The energy that is God cannot be destroyed. It is moving across my thighs, my hamstrings, my glutes. Relax the thighs, the hamstrings, the glutes. And as the energy makes its way to the hips, we relax the hip sockets, surrendering the lower half of our body. But the alive sensation continues to rise. Kundalini energy gathered at the base of the spine begins to make its ascension now. Opening and activating each chakra, traveling up, 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 and out the crown of our head now. This aliveness connects us one to the other, connects us to each other, connects us to the planets, the stars, the galaxies. It is alive, and we are all alive in God. And now we give permission for this energy to flow back down through the crown of our head, crossing our third eye, opening our throat to speak words of truth, across our shoulders and down our arms. At this point, you may turn the palms up to receive more, or turn the palms down to ground. And as the energy flows throughout the body, affirm, I am alive in God. I am alive in God now. I am alive. As we prepare for our silent time, scan the body. See if there's any more tension that you're holding. Send the breath and relaxation there now. As we go deeper into our experience, I will monitor the time. You take this inward journey, and the next time you hear my voice, it will be to begin our return. But for now, if the mind wanders, it's okay. Bring it back when you become aware that you are alive in God, that we are all alive in God now. With our eyes still closed, we just notice how good it feels to be alive. And just as the flow, the power of the ocean goes in and out, the power of the waterfall flows to the ocean. We are alive in God. With our eyes still closed, we enjoy the sensation of connection, because connection is signaled by peace in our body and peace in our mind. With our eyes still closed, we remember how it feels on the inside, and we bring it back with us, so that we remember there is nothing outside of us that can impact the aliveness of God within us, the connection of God within us, the abundance of truth flowing through us. We are alive in God now. Let's go ahead, if the palms are turned up, to turn them back down. Plant them on the tops of the thighs. And maybe we spend a few seconds, moments here, just waking up the lower half of the body. Maybe we rub the tops of the thighs. Maybe we raise the heels, wiggle the toes. Just feel that sensation, the current of energy flowing through the body. Stop the movement. Inhale and draw the shoulders up by the ears. Inhale. And release the breath. Shoulders drop down. Inhale, draw the shoulders up by the ears. And exhale, shoulders back and down. Last time. Inhale. Shoulders up by the ears. Back and down. Bring the palms together at heart center. And nice and easy, bow the chin to the fingertips. Notice the slight elongation at the base of the neck and the spine. Shoulders are relaxed down and back. Feeling the breath flowing across the fingertips. Slowly flutter the eyes open, taking in a point in front of you or on the floor. Nice soft gaze, nothing to strain here. We allow the aliveness of God to fill our vision. Inhale, raise the chin. Raise the gaze, nice and soft. Release the breath. Namaste.
Yes, yes. Thank you, PY.
You're welcome. That screen is bright.
Awesome.
We got game.
It's bright. All right. Good. Well, welcome to the new Truth Sunday Masterclass.
I'm excited. You excited?
Of course. We
Yes.
got game. And this is a deep dive and a study of The Game of Life and How to Play It by Florence Scovel Shinn. As we were sharing earlier, this is a foundational New Thought text. If you come in contact with New Thought, eventually you have to come in contact with this book. It's influenced so many people. As you read this, if you're familiar with the work of Louise Hay, there is no Louise Hay without Florence Scovel Shinn. There are actually some things that many years ago, and that I've attributed to Louise Hay, that actually she got directly from Florence Scovel Shinn. One of the other things to note that's important, and PY already spoke to it, this book was written in 1925. Okay, one of the immediate things that can be problematic is the use of gender, right? So she always speaks of man, and him to talk about everybody. But PY is not a man, so you would almost think, well, is she excluding women? And of course, she's not. I will do my best, and I actually always do this. I shift that language. So as I read through, and we read through, I'll shift the language to be more inclusive. But I do encourage you, as you're reading, to also read it that way. But at the same time, we can honor the text. It's a reflection of the time and world that she lived in. Right?
And we don't want to get hung up on that, because sometimes that becomes a point of resistance, and so we can't accept the message that is being offered, the truth that is underneath the words. In fact, the truth is always underneath every word. And so we keep our focus, our minds there, and we allow what is true about this text to come forward.
Yeah. Absolutely. So if you don't already have the book, we encourage you to get it. You'll see in the post, whether you're on Facebook or YouTube, the link is there to get the book. Any edition will work. This is a book that's in public domain, so everybody and their mama has a version.
Except us, we might need to get one.
Has a version out there, so you may find yourself a bit overwhelmed when you go to Amazon. But we do have a direct link to a reliable version that you can get. That you can get there. So let's dig into the text, and also as we dig into the text, you'll see here Truth Sunday at celebrationsc.org. So as you're reading the next chapter, or even if you have a question today related to the chapter, you need to send an email. And so what we'll be doing throughout the week is watching that inbox and taking those questions into consideration as we're moving through the chapters. This will come up again on the screen, but it's Truth Sunday at celebrationsc.org. That's where your questions can be answered, or that's where you can send your questions. And again, then we will incorporate those questions into the class each week. So let's start here at the very beginning. She starts with something that's interesting, and I even like to paraphrase it. But she says, most people consider life a battle, but it is not a battle, it is a game. And when I read that, I also hear most people consider life as a test, but it is not a test. It is a game in the sense of what she's talking about. It is a game, however, which cannot be played successfully without the knowledge of spiritual law. And guess what? The Old and New Testament, or the First and Second Testaments, give the rules of the game with wonderful clearness. Jesus the Christ taught that it was a great game of giving and receiving. And she's reading the biblical text here, quoting, whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap. This means that whatever man or whatever we send out in word or deed will return to us. What we give, we will receive. Okay. So let's stop there for a second, because I think this, we can immediately misapply what she's saying. Okay. And of course, we're going to, there's more information as we move forward. But whatsoever we soweth, that shall we also reap. That means that whatever we send out in word and deed will return to us. What we give, we will receive. Now, first, sometimes it can become something that's fearful, because it's like many of us, we know to watch our words, and Florence Scovel Shinn is very big on that. But then we become scared to talk. Right? And we live in this cancel mindset, right? But what's more important, and as we talk about the three aspects of mind, you'll see this, is that whatever we send out in word or deed starts in mind, right? So a lot of us are watching our words, but we ain't watching our thoughts.
Yes.
Right? And that's so incredibly powerful. I remember this a beautiful moment when I was in seminary in my New Testament class, and there was a debate, a discussion around sin, and what our professor was trying to get us to understand, he says that it begins in the mind. He said that the act or the actions, it's really not the point, because there are a lot of people that are out here acting right, right? But what's going on in your mind, right? And it was profound because a lot of people were in complete disagreement with him, although he was the professor. But he was speaking to this spiritual truth, right? That whatever we send out in word or deed, in consciousness returns to us. But it's not about our actions, it's about our thoughts.
And the other beautiful thing that this is pointing to is a misunderstanding of the concept of karma.
Yeah, talk about it.
Because we've been trained to believe that, whatever is going to come back to you. So if you bad to me, it's going to come back to you because that's not what it is. It's really cause and effect. A thought creates like it's kind unto itself, however you want to say that. And so when we think thought consistently, it has to come back to us so that we see it. It's effect of the thought. It's not because we are bad or it's trying to show us how bad we are. It's just the way the game is set up from day one.
Right.
Cause and effect.
Yeah.
Thought and then thing. Right? And so that misunderstanding of karma as if, this is my 700th lifetime and I'm getting it back now is not really what this is about. It's really about just understanding fundamental day one, game piece on the board, cause and effect.
Yeah. Right. And so there's enough cause happening in your present life to create the conditions of your life.
Right. You didn't got to go back 7 lifetimes.
Right. Now, what happens, because it's about our thought, when we believe that our past lives have effect on our present, it must be true, because that's the cause that we're presenting, right? But again, you have enough cause.
You got enough thought running right now, right here today.
Yeah, Lord have mercy.
To impact and create from.
Yeah. So that's beautiful to know. That's beautiful to know and beautiful to know. So we move forward. If we give hate, we receive hate. If we give love, we receive love. If we give criticism, we will receive criticism. If we lie, we will be lied to. If we cheat, we will be cheated. We are taught also that the imaging faculty plays a leading part in the game of life. Keep thy heart or imagination with all diligence, for out of it are the issues of life. Proverbs 4:23. This means that what we image, or what humanity images, sooner or later externalizes in our affairs. Okay, so there's a lot here, right? Now, because I love, thank you, PY, for talking about cause and effect as it relates to karma, because it's true, right? If I give hate, I'll receive hate. If I give love, I'll receive love. But often we don't see that happening, right? We see a lot of people giving hate, and it doesn't seem
like nothing's happening to them.
Right, or right, or who are being critical and they're not receiving criticism, etc. Right. So there are varying levels where this happens, and we're not always aware of it. But now we're getting into something interesting when she talks about the imaging faculty being part of the game of life and imagination. And you see what she does here. This is sort of metaphysical biblical interpretation. Keep thy heart. Heart, when you read it in scripture, actually is referring to mind or thinking, right? As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. Well, it's like think in your heart. If you start to look back into the ancient texts and understand that actually heart and mind were sort of one. And now we also actually understand that the cells that make up the heart is a thinking organ in a sense, right? If you look at the work of heart math, which is powerful, right? So when you read heart in scripture, you should be thinking mind. And then if you're thinking mind, then you're thinking about imagination, you're thinking about imaging, you're thinking about creating. So keep thy heart or imagination with all diligence, for out of it are the issues of life. It's saying that what's in your heart is what's manifesting, right? And of course, heart is also rooted to our emotion, which is important because that's really what the vibration is, right? A lot of times we're thinking about a new job, but we're actually in fear, right? In our heart.
Right. In our heart and our mind.
Right. Right.
It's interesting. I think you've talked about this before, how the heart forms before the brain.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
That it's more powerful than that, what we would consider our thinking mechanism. And so if it is clear, if it is focused, if it is consistent in its way of operating, that's what we're worried about or
Yep.
concerned with,
Yep.
right?
Yep. Yep. And so, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Yeah. And so here, Florence Scovel Shinn, she shares a lot of stories all throughout this reading. One of the unfortunate things from a more scholarly academic perspective is, these stories are really anecdotal, and there's no kind of way to, I know there are a number of people that have tried to sort of go back and research and find out who are the people that she worked with. So we take these stories at face value, right? And we use them for what she's talking about. And I say that because I also don't want us to move into fear, right? This first story that she talks about is someone who feared a certain disease, right? And it was a very rare disease, but he continued to read and dread, and unfortunately, he manifested that disease and died, right? And specifically, this is interesting and important because we're in the midst of a pandemic, right? We're in the midst of a time when so many folks, unfortunately, have transitioned due to this virus or related to this virus. And what we do not want to do is dismiss that as, if they had used their imaging faculty, they would not have gotten sick and died, right? Now, the first thing, and I say this all the time, all of us believe in getting sick, right? So we can't even try to act like, our beliefs were somehow more powerful than others, right? If you've ever had a cold, raise your hand, right? If you've ever had any medical issue, right, big or small. So there is a collective belief around getting sick, and we can just leave it there, right? And so there's no shame or blame for anyone. But what is important, and PY has spoken to this as it relates to the pandemic, what we get to do, we have to be informed. But we inform ourselves based on maintaining health, not avoiding getting sick, right? So you see how you can use your imaging, difference. You see how you can use your imaging faculty, right? Keep your heart and imagination with all diligence, for out of it are the issues of life. So I recognize I need to be informed. I want to know how do I keep myself safe? What are the things I need to do, right? What are the guidelines that are in place? Because I am healthy.
And I want to remain so.
And I choose to remain so.
Right. And that's the only thing that this is pointing us to is, again, the consistent pattern of thought and understanding our desire is to remain in this condition of health, not dis-ease, but ease.
Right. And so this is what's important. And so she says, so we see, to play successfully the game of life, we must train the imaging faculty. A person with an imaging faculty trained to image only good brings into their life every righteous desire of their heart: health, wealth, love, friends, perfect self-expression, our highest ideals. The imagination has been called the scissors of the mind, and it is ever cutting day by day the pictures we see there, and sooner or later we meet our own creations in our outer world. To train the imagination successfully, we must understand the workings of our mind. The Greeks said, "Know thyself." Now, there's something very important here, and we'll probably keep coming back to this over and over again. But she says to play successfully the game of life, we must train the imaging faculty. A person with an imaging faculty trained to image only good brings to their life every righteous desire of their heart: health, wealth, love, friends, perfect self-expression, our highest ideals. She did not say, if you cut out pictures out of a magazine and create a vision board, you will have these things. She did not say, if you write down a list of your goals and dreams, you will have these things. Now, hear me. I am not speaking against these things. We teach those things. We use those things. But what I know to be true is that the opportunity is for us to learn how to use our imaging faculty to focus on and expect the good. When we operate from that perspective, all the good flows, right? Health, wealth, love, friends, perfect self-expression, our highest ideals, the things that we want, right? You've heard us say it a million times. God already knows what you want. We don't have to treat God or the universe like Santa Claus.
Right. And when you think about God already knowing what you want, why would it create something that was lacking anything? So you got to step back from that fearful place of it. I got to tell it exactly what I want, because it operates from abundance. It operates from complete connection. It operates from oneness. So where it operates, there is no lack.
Yes.
So where would there be any lack in you or your life or your life expression? We have got to get these foundational ideas and let that be the pattern of our thinking.
Yeah.
And more importantly, we talked about it at the beginning of the year, the pattern of our being.
Yeah.
And PG's right. There's nothing wrong with thinking about what you want, but when you get so tied to it, when you feel so fearful that it is not coming, you are already in the lack vibration.
That's in this chapter. We're going to talk about it.
Right? When you get so tied to the conditions of how it has to show up, when it has to show up, that's when you create the problems. We didn't talk about it, but the very idea that she is calling life a game should relax everybody. If you're new to these teachings, you're new to these ideas, and you've never even thought about life being a game, PG calls it Play-Doh, it could be. If you've never thought about it that way, then this might feel a little blasphemous to you, or a little foreign, or a little wow. But that points to the ability to relax once you know the rules. Think about games. The rules don't change. Unless you're playing with somebody playing Uno and they make up their own rules, right? The rules are the rules. And so what we're learning how to do with this text, what are the rules and how to use them?
And I want you to hear this. Again, we are not speaking against vision boarding and writing out desire lists. But here's what we're doing, and here's what we always seek to do as teachers. There are ways that we can make use of the laws, and then there's understanding the laws, right? And so what Florence Scovel-Shinn is inviting us to do is to understand the entire game and the components that go into the game. Because, okay, if vision boarding is the way that you've manifested a great life, and so what happens if you don't have any more magazines or tape or glue or a poster board, right? Now how do you manifest?
Now what you gonna do?
You must understand the law that is underneath it. Then you can always make use of it. What if for some reason you're just not able to write down goals? What if what if you're just not able to use that tool? See, these tools are making use of a law. The tools do not have the power, and that's part of the misapplication and the problematic teaching that we're seeing happening. Because I'm seeing folks that never used vision boards before, and I'm specifically talking about non-new thought, non-metaphysical communities are out here vision boarding. Right. But there is not an understanding of the law underneath it. You must know the law underneath it. Then you can use it any time, right? Then you can succeed at any time, right? It's like if you baked a cake in your oven and you always bake delicious cakes, and now all of a sudden you're moved into a commercial kitchen and you're like, I can't bake anymore.
Right.
See that, but it's like there's principles underneath why your cake was always delicious that had nothing to do with your kitchen.
Right. You put the same amount of eggs in.
Yes.
It didn't matter what kitchen. You see, you use the flour. It didn't matter what kitchen. Right. You know what temperature to cook it on now. Maybe slightly turn it up or down depending on elevation. But that's also a rule. That's also guidance on how to bake or how to play the game.